The console wars are coming to a close. Are the PC wars going to take it over, or is there another alternative? We have someone here today that we need to bring in to have a full discussion on what's going on in the future of gaming. And who we have? Whoa! We've got fucking Gaming Roman back.
Yo,
How you doing, man?
doing well, doing well. Ready to get on to this. Also, console wars are gay, but that's all I'll say.
Well, there's a lot that goes into it, and there's
Yeah,
kind of some things that we have to pick apart when it comes to that.
yep.
So, what's your initial thoughts before we go through all these articles? Like,
So, console war pretty much has just gotten to like crap slinging, or at least like it's only on Twitter. That's all I see. Just people like either bragging about exclusives that soon be ported to PC or whatever, so it's not really gonna be exclusive, or just little jabs about this can run game better than this. It's just weird. It's
okay.
really nothing.
I can get completely where you're coming from. By the way, Gaming Ronin over here, he is our resident gamer. He's been a supporter of the channel for a long time. He games way more than I do because I'm over here making videos. So I'm treating you as the expert for everything that I'm about to pull up.
Let's see if that turns out to be a mistake or not.
It probably will be, but that's what we do over here. All right, so here's the first thing that we're going to talk about, and this comes from PC World. PC versus consoles, the future of gaming looks blurrier than ever, and that's not just my eyesight, it has become geriatric. So, we're talking about the selling points of PC versus these consoles that they're trying to come out. They just can become blockier and blockier and cross platforming, like you said earlier, Ronan. It seems to be becoming less and less a viable option to get a console that is specifically for something rather than just picking up a Stream Deck or like a PC where you could do all kinds of other stuff. The exclusives don't really make as much sense anymore.
Yeah, the exclusives themselves don't make any sense anymore. However, I will say there is the pricing of said things that still makes consoles look a tad bit better, depending on what you're wanting.
All right. Let's go into this article a little bit
Yep.
and then I'll let you expound on that.
Yep.
So, I'm just reading the article right there. The PC gaming versus console gaming debate as we head into 25. The discussion is no longer about whether playing Super Mario on the SNES is better or worse than Doom on the PC. The line between console and PC gaming has grown so blurry the similarities now far outweigh the differences, and there's little that separates them. I would disagree with that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly, and console makers are growing more agnostic with their wares, shifting from exclusivity to a cross-platform embrace. If you feel like you have to do a cross-platform embrace, it's because there has just been mismanagement for years and years and years. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ronan, with anything you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there has been mismanagement with many things, whether it's trying to release and market the game to just making the game in general, but I mean, there is a reason why there is a shift from exclusivity to cross-platform embrace, and that's just many people at this point know what they want to play on. Many know if they want a PlayStation now, an Xbox, a PC, and people just want that game on that system. And it just makes more sense anyway. The more games on like on multiple systems, the more money you rake in. I mean, it's just that simple to a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, definitely. But whenever you have certain games that are basically produced and sponsored by certain platforms, shall we say, like Gears of War was and Halo were only Microsoft for a long time. Like
Yeah,
God of War, Uncharted, what was the other? Infamous, that was absolutely awesome. One and two,
Infamous, Sly
yeah,
Cooper.
yeah, that were only for Sony.
Yeah,
That's what made those consoles stand apart and during the great time of the console wars. And
yeah,
it's I feel like it's so much more than a simplistic answer, but we could debate about it. And
yeah,
since Sony and Microsoft are both doing this to a staggering degree, with only Nintendo mostly in its own world, why is Nintendo only in its own world? Because in my opinion, they're in their own world because they have had a straightforward vision for their company and have stayed rigid to it, much like the Japanese tradition, the
yeah,
entire fucking time.
yeah. I mean, Nintendo's Nintendo. They've always been their own world.
Yeah, but they're not testing the winds
Yeah.
and like blowing around in the breeze. Like, no, this is what we want to do. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I think a lot of customers, a lot of consumers, a lot of people like that, they see that like, okay, that's something I can fall back on. So therefore, and it's also always fun, always family friendly. It's something like party games, all kinds of stuff like that. This is the only console you can get that on where it won't change. It'll
Yeah.
just steadily keep trudging forward. The little engine that could, that's what Nintendo is, in my opinion. But if you're a PC gamer, though, on the other hand, you likely possess at least one or two consoles, even if it's just a Switch. Now, you are a PC gamer. I am now, but I still use an Xbox controller.
Yeah, I use an Xbox controller from time to time, depending on the game.
Why?
But
Which games? Come on, man. You got to spout
Arkham
out your resume right
Origins,
here.
like Batman Arkham Origins was one of them I did recently, and because I played the Arkham games on like Cities, Asylum, Night on PlayStation, I had to use a controller. But with PC, I just went for Xbox controller.
Gotcha. Now, before we get too sidetracked on which controller do you like best, I feel like we'll have to bring that up at some point. Let's see what makes PC gaming unique according to this article. So, for better or worse, PCs are more complicated than gaming consoles. You have immense flexibility when it comes to building your own machine, upgrading individual parts, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we know all about that. The
Yeah.
reason why I don't PC game without a controller is because my dexterity is way off. I can type like a motherfucker, but as far as like I'm not platforming, but like hotkeying stuff for each individual game, like it takes the fun out of it for me. I'd rather just
Yeah.
experience it with a controller in my hand so I can sit back. How do you feel about PC gaming?
For me, it's always dependent on the game that I use keyboard and mouse controller. If it's just the format I'm used to, like Arkham games, controller. But like recently, I've been playing Payday 2, and I just like keyboard and mouse more. I rarely have to rebound keys, and the mouse makes me aim better. So
Yeah, I can get you with that. They are completely different styles of playing, and there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with any of that. But they do bring up a good point right here about how, with people building their own gaming consoles, or not consoles, their own gaming computers, their own setups, and everything like that, not all hardware options are fitting together. And then there's
yeah,
certain software glitches where the game wants you to run this, but this one little part that can run everything else, every other game that you've played fine, can't run this new game. That and the fact that I see this right here, that running on outdated drivers, like constant updates and upgrades and everything. Whereas with the console, you could just have a disk, you put it in there, like you download the basic memory to it, you just plug and play.
yeah. That's the one thing I do like about consoles a bit more.
Me too.
And one thing that does make PC gaming unique is the fact that you can mod your game. So, like on PlayStation or Xbox, well, yeah, PlayStation and Xbox, unless you jailbreak them, you're not able to mod them. Like you can't add suits into Arkham Knight that aren't in the game like you can on PC. Like PC, I can make Batman dress up as Harry Potter or Superman if I wanted to. That's the another thing that makes PC gaming just unique is the modding aspect. You just don't get on consoles, but just one aspect or one other aspect, I guess.
Yeah, but that's actually huge with the
Yeah.
gaming community, and that's one of the things that has kept GTA 5 like still viable and still profitable for how long it has been, is specifically because of the modding.
Oh yeah, because the roleplay servers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, all kinds of stuff, even just the GTA Online servers. I have to say the same thing about Minecraft too. The Minecraft
Oh
mods
yeah.
that has kept that game basically evergreen because you can mod it.
All the mod. Yeah, there's many people. Like there's mods that add more multiple realms that aren't even in the base game. That expands it. Yeah.
Let's find out now about how Xbox and PC gaming are alike. I don't really like how Xbox and PC gaming, not Xbox, PlayStation, and PC gaming, or anything like that. I don't like the way that that is worded
Yeah.
whatsoever. So the line between Xbox consoles and PC gaming continues to blur as we head into 25. This is probably because of that advertisement where, like, oh, if you have a TV in your refrigerator's an Xbox.
Your toaster's an Xbox.
Yes. Probably the urine whenever you wake up after a hard night's sleep in the toilet is an Xbox. Why? We don't know what you ate last night, but it has a slight tinge of green, and that's the Xbox colors. Therefore, we are copywriting that.
If it's
So
green or a device, it's an Xbox.
that does seem to be the platform that they are taking, a platform agnostic approach that's heavily influencing the PC side. Well, so this is completely different. This is no longer about the console versus PC gaming. This is now about Microsoft itself
Yeah.
getting away from consoles and instead producing products that they can just sell everywhere. So this is a completely different topic right now. And how do you feel about that? Like, obviously, we all grew up with consoles because PCs were PC gaming took a long time to catch up to the consoles. Everyone grew up on a console.
Yeah. I'm not surprised with both well, Windows being Microsoft on PC and Xbox being on Microsoft owned by Microsoft. This just felt to me feels like a natural course that it ended up would have took with Microsoft just starting to release their Xbox stuff onto PC. Now you got PC Game Pass. It's just I don't know, to me it makes sense.
I don't think they ever really cared. They cared about
Yeah.
getting their foot in the door in the beginning. And that's why I kind of believe that 360 beat out the PS3 in the console wars. They actually kind of did at first, but then they kind of slacked off, and then PlayStation took that little lag and had that last little bit of sprint at the end
Yeah.
because Microsoft, Bill Gates, and all those kind of people, they were looking at a bigger picture than I think PlayStation was. Now, because now PlayStation is doing the exact same thing that Xbox has failed in after the Xbox One, where now they have this
Yeah.
giant suitcase that nobody gives a fuck about. There are no like exclusive games for it, and the ones that do come out, even on console, even with physical media, they're not coming out finished. They need constant day one patches. So
Yeah.
they've gotten lazy with making games in general. Can we blame EA for that? Yes, I do. Right here.
Yeah.
I blame you, EA, for all these fucking shit. But what how do you feel as a gamer? Because you game way more than I do.
So, how do I feel about? So yeah, Xbox did seem to have a bit of a better vision at the start, like with the 360. Heck, the 360 had crossplay and continue that even to now, where PlayStation is the very first models of the PS3 had crossplay. Then it got removed for whatever reason later on. To now, the 5 has it. So PlayStation, even though it at the end the PS3 beat the 360, Xbox always had or always in the like a bit ahead with some stuff like the um backwards compatibility.
That was a huge thing with the Xbox 360, backwards
Yeah.
compatibility. Now, do you think a reason for that was because so the PS3, obviously the hardware, like the graphics and everything like that, was obviously well ahead of what Xbox 360 was doing. So it was maybe harder to make the PS2 games backwards compatible because it was a giant leap in technology.
Maybe, however, I've heard people say the 360 looked better than the 3. I don't know how true that is because I never had a 360.
I would
But
say no, but
I know one of the issues the 3 had was Sony made all their parts for it in house, which kind of made development hard for it. But I don't know if it the leap like that would have really caused it hard to be able to do backwards compatibility with PS2. I would think they would also be able to run it just because the first models had backwards compatibility. However, I don't think it had backwards compatibility for every PS2 game. But something I did to mention too. Every version of the 3 still has backwards compatibility for PlayStation 1 games, which is interesting. So like the Slim, Super Slim can read PS1 games along with 3 games of 4.
now, but how long did it take for them to catch up to that?
I think that was always a thing with the 3. I think it all read on PS1 games.
I'm pretty sure that that came later on after the release
Maybe,
because this was a
but
huge topic of debate in the console wars.
I remember like hearing the first few models did PS2 and then that just stopped completely. But every version of 3 can read PS1.
Yeah, another thing that happened with the Xbox, they basically it was the first one, especially as the smart TVs were trying to come out. They basically tried to turn an Xbox into a shitty computer. Probably tried to have it make all the capabilities. So I mean, I don't know if you remember this. They had Microsoft Edge on it, where I mean, it was slow as crap, but you could hook it up to your TV and look at things that way. You could browse the internet that way. You could go to the store that way.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, they always had like the PlayStation Store as well, but Xbox tried to take it a step further, and I think what this article is saying is the downside of this: the Xbox as a console lost its magic because it tried to compare itself to computers, and computers already had better graphics, and like you said earlier, ways to mod the games, and that.
Yeah.
According to them, is reflected in the subpar sales compared to Sony's PlayStation, which stayed a little bit more on brand, a little bit more on topic. So,
Yeah.
and also the exclusives, the high profile exclusives. We've talked about this all day. They killed Halo.
Yeah.
Gears of War, I don't think is dead, but they had a stumble in Gears of War 4. So, what do you think about that?
They definitely killed Halo. Can't say much about Gears. Never played it. But but see, thing with PlayStation, they well, I can't say them all because two did, but three, four, and five has had web browsers on them. So another feature, PC-esque feature. Now I think the one thing though is because when it comes to Xbox, they don't seem to have many exclusives that come to mind. It's always Halo, Gears, and Forza. But PlayStation, you can have like Sly, Infamous, and God of War, and go on and on. So I think that may have helped Xbox lose a bit of magic because it's always the same exclusives getting a new entry. Plus the reveal of the Xbox One, I don't think helped Xbox either because I heard that didn't go over well.
No, it wasn't great. I know this from experience because it was one of those ones where back when GameStop was a viable company, if it ever was viable, ask Camelot 331. But if it ever was viable, you could trade in your 360 and get like $200 off a brand new Xbox One. So you only had to pay like $120 to get one. So
Wow.
that's what I did. And it got the Red Ring of Death too. I turned in the defunct one and got the same deal. And then that one worked ever. I mean, I still use it to this day, or I still have it. I don't use it anymore, but it still works to this day. Now, while we just delineated between the differences between Xbox, Sony, PlayStation, well, between the consoles and PC gaming, not really getting a full answer. It's just talking about crap and having our own experiences. There are a lot of people who are coming out and they're saying that the games industry will only have room for one non Nintendo console next gen. Why do they say one non Nintendo console? Go ahead, because this is free reign, brother.
I don't know. This one I very much disagree with. Personally, I think there's still room for the PlayStation and an Xbox. There's one thing to remember too with PlayStation is their consoles, since the three has gimmicks. With three, you had motion control in your controller, so you will the first party games you would have mini games where you gotta move the controller. The PS2 had the giant touchpad and speakers in it. Now the PS5 is haptic feedback and stuff, so that will still kind of carry. I don't know about how much, but the PlayStation, if they keep those gimmicks, especially for the first party games, if they still include those, then you also have the fact people has large game libraries like since people started, like large PlayStation, Xbox libraries too, and most people might just want to continue a series on a platform. Like personally for me, if I start a series on PlayStation, I want to continue it on PlayStation instead of getting the next installment on the Xbox or PC if I can. So large game libraries plus gimmicks or whether or not you like a certain controller, which that part kind of gets fizzled out with PC and letting you use PlayStation and Xbox controllers for some games. Plus, Nintendo. I don't know why I'm trying to mention Nintendo.
Well, I think they're trying to establish that
Yeah,
no matter what, Nintendo is going to succeed. Their console is
yeah.
not even in this discussion because that will succeed. However, with the two that we have left, so that being the Xbox and the PlayStation 5,
Yes.
which is just making me laugh right here because this just looks like a rigid vagina. And then this is just a box, which means to me that Sony has leveled up. I
Well,
mean, they're both synonymous with female body parts, but like one is just like the caveman style, and then one is a sleek Wally style.
the meme I seen when the PlayStation 5 first got revealed was Dr. Doofenshmirtz's head on it because it looks like his lab coat.
Nice. I mean, they have done market research, and the firm DFC Intelligence released its annual market report and forecast this week. And by this week, we mean last week, because by the
Yeah.
time this comes out, this is supposed to be evergreen content and something a debate and conversation that can go on for years and years, hopefully, in which it projects major revenue growth for the second half of the decade while predicting significant risk for one of the three established console manufacturers. Obviously, we keep going on that. And what they're predicting from their market research, thanks to the new hardware from Nintendo, we got GTA 6 coming out. That's going to be absolutely fucking massive.
Yes, it will
Whether
be.
it's good or not, it doesn't matter. It's gonna sell. So the games industry will enjoy record growth in 2025, but that's not necessarily having anything to do with which console it's played on, because a lot
Yeah.
of this, and actually, I think we talked about this, if I'm not mistaken, on an either Off the Hip or Trigger Happy with Alec Baldwin's finger. Shameless plug. I think we talked about this. GTA 6 is going to be PlayStation only for a couple of months, and then they will later move it onto PC. So this is a power move from PlayStation having that title there.
So I don't know if 6 is really a PlayStation exclusive for a few months. I think PlayStation has the marketing rights to it at the moment because I don't see it not releasing on Xbox when it first comes out. However, it will be quite a while before it gets a PC release. That part's confirmed. It
Yeah.
might
Do
be like
do we
a
have
few years.
do you happen to be able to pull up anything on that?
Gotta quickly look.
I can't even remember if GTA used to ever even be available on Xbox until later on. But anyway, while you're looking it up, the firm is predicting this number of people worldwide who will play video games will exceed 4 billion. 4 billion people out of a world of 7 billion. I don't know
Mm.
how they get that. I don't know how they get those numbers, but it's projecting also that Nintendo will be the clear winner in the next generation of consoles, due largely to a combination of earlier availability and limited competition. I don't know if that's really the case either. I think Nintendo will be the clear winner because they are the little engine that just stays in their own lane. So while the other two duke it out and drive like Asian drivers into each other, having a full blown demolition derby, Nintendo is on the side on that track, riding the way up Pikes Peak.
And one thing to note too for Nintendo is they're the only place, a Nintendo system outside emulation with PC. It's the only place you're going to play your Mario, your Legend Zeldas, and your Pokemons. So they've got that locked down too.
Yeah, they do have some giant IPs that only they can use. Now, while they're saying there isn't room for more than two major console systems, by the way, did you get that pulled up yet, man?
I haven't seen anything. I'm just seeing transfer your characters to like PC porting. I think they always ported Xbox or as soon as it came out. Well, let me try
Okay,
like
yeah,
the old ones.
yeah. We're just making sure that we're telling you the right stuff when we talk about this. I can only go about what I remember. I mean, I know I do have GTA 5 on my Xbox, but I bought that in the store, and it was well after the initial release, so I kind of remember it just being a PlayStation game, but I don't know. Anyway, doesn't
They
matter.
might have been. I'm not seeing anything right now in a quick search, so I could be wrong. It might have started out as PlayStation only, and then after release get an Xbox port. But I always thought they released at the same time.
No, I know this is going to go back into something that we already touched on earlier, but once again, this article is saying the same thing we talked about. So Microsoft has basically given up because Xbox Series X failed. You know, that giant, box that can't even fit a phallus in it. But they've made major acquisitions to become the world's largest software publisher. And that's what we were talking about. It's like, yeah, if they can just publish everything, well, then therein lies your money. So you really don't
Yeah.
need, Microsoft doesn't really need a console. I think it was just a dick waving contest in the first place, or at least something to get them solidified into being able to become to this point. Unless
Yeah.
they're just really good at, sweet talking and pillow talking.
At this rate, Microsoft is trying to become like Sega. Get out of the console stuff and just publish the games.
I still find it funny though that it's pretty damn apparent that that's what they're trying to do. Yet they're still just like teasing Sony and the PlayStation
Yeah.
and all like that. They're just like, oh yeah, but what if we do this? But what if we do this?
It's like, just go ahead and become Sega. Just go ahead and put your Halos and your Gears or whatever you want on the PlayStation. Just let it
Yeah,
be done.
it's almost like the little brother who's got his growth spurt and is now taller than the older brother, and it's like, I know you can still kick my butt, but now you can't reach me. All right, so I know this comes from Screen Rant, which is the most reputable of sources. This is a CNN of the entertainment landscape. But sometimes, I mean, you got to use quotes at some point.
Yeah.
PlayStation CEO is weighing in on the future of console gaming with hopeful news. Hopeful for who? I'm assuming hopeful for Sony.
Yeah. I would assume.
Now, they don't believe console gaming is dead because, well, if they did, they would probably have to jump out the side of the building. And neither should you. Why not? Console gaming is dead. It's dead.
Yeah.
We don't have to believe it. We can see it by the numbers. So, falling console sales, the rapidly declining practice of console exclusivity, and the advent of cloud gaming have caused some players to revive a familiar argument that the age of console gaming is well and truly rusted over underneath the balls. What do you think about this, going Ronan?
So I don't think cloud gaming is really gonna have. It's gonna have an impact, but I don't think it's gonna have that much impact to cause console gaming to be truly over. Because the one good thing about console gaming that it has over PC now is physical media. Now you can't. Now it's like on PC you got your Steam, your Epic Game Stores, and all your launchers. But at least with PlayStation and Xbox, you still have the chance of buying your game on a disc, put it in, don't have to worry about losing it if for whatever reason your account gets banned. So cloud gaming is going to have a bit of effect because there are many people that like to have their stuff digitally. However, I don't think it's going to make it well and truly over, at least just yet. Physical media is really what's keeping console gaming alive, or
Thank
one of many
you.
things keeping it
Thank
alive.
you for waiting so long because I was just like, man, this is your softball pitch. Like, please bring up physical media. I'm waiting for you to throw it up there, man. Knocked it out of the park. That is one of the big things. And also, even with, so you could do both at the same time because they used to do this way back in the day, even with the 360. When you would buy a game, you'd have the physical disc that also have a digital copy in there if you bought it new. So you could do both at the same time. So why not? Why not go to that pattern if you want to keep your consoles alive? Also, anytime there is an internet outage, you can't play them. Most of these games, you can't play them offline. You have to be connected to the internet.
Yeah. That's also a thing, is like, as much as I like to say, and it is true, physical media is definitely keeping consoles alive. There's also the issue of, like we said, how the games are running servers, so like a power outage, let's say your internet goes out, you can't play it.
So there is something in this paragraph that I do want to talk about because in an interview with Famitsu, translated by MP1ST, or First, as Americans know it, but these people are Asian, so who knows? Hideaki Nishina reaffirmed that console gaming is here to stay, at least in his business plan. This is a major cope right here, at least in his business plan.
Yeah.
Regardless of which direction the industry appears to be moving in, he has said that there is no doubt that home video game consoles will remain at the center of our business for some time. For some time, and that time could be shorter, could be longer. What you should be trying to do is make it longer. And I don't think the steps that they're taking is, in step, so to speak, without repeating myself way too much, to making it last for a longer time. He cites the fact that games are still coming out for the console and still being played is showing that the console market has continued viability. By the way, the PS5 success, this is one thing we want to talk about because Astrobot, I was made aware of this. More people have played and finished Starfield on the Xbox than have even started to play Astrobot on the PS5.
Yeah, when I heard about that, I found that surprising, especially for the launch Starfield had.
And all the awards that Astrobot actually
Yeah,
won.
that too. It won Game of the Year and all that.
Yeah, that blew my mind whenever I heard that. And I was like, oh, because I thought, I was like, well, surely it was also on Steam and Epic Games and something like that. I was like, oh, no, it wasn't. It was a PS5 exclusive and people didn't play it. But the people who did play it loved it.
Yeah,
But people didn't show up to even start playing it.
but there's also the caveat of Astrobot. It's almost a bit like, I don't know if classic platformers, right? Because that would be like your Super Mario on the NES, but your platformer like classic, I guess, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper ish. So there's
Banjo
a thing,
Kazooie,
yeah.
like
So there's a
Spyro, all that kind of stuff.
thing of how much is the gaming market. People kind of want to return, but is there enough that kind of wants that type? Is the thing, so that could have played into that, where everything now is like your open world, like Starfield was.
Well, I see everything has its niche.
Yeah,
Like if you had looked 5 years ago, the number one franchise in the world was Hello Kitty, even more than Pokemon. Hello Kitty is the most profitable franchise out there. So, I mean, everything has its own little niche. Now, maybe American gaming or American gaming in certain demographics tends to go towards first person shooters or tends to go towards like action RPGs or tends to go through platforming stuff or the mobile gaming, which a lot of people are leaving out. Mobile gaming is absolutely fucking huge,
yeah.
but it never gets brought up in the conversation.
Because mobile gaming isn't real gaming, or at least that's what I hear. Even though you'd be
I
impressed with some of the anime mobile games, some of them play.
I mean, I don't have a dog in that fight.
Yeah,
I've got a couple games on my phone that they're time killers. They're fun, but they're also not like intuitive and everything like that. Well, they are
yeah.
intuitive. They're not intensive. I don't know. I think a lot of people leave that kind of stuff out, and they like shrink their parameters in order to basically fit what they want to say into the statement.
Well, because the thing with mobile gaming too is people, when they talk about mobile gaming, they only think of Candy Crush. They don't really think about the fact that some mobile games, or at least because how phones are now, can almost like Sonic 1 through 3. I want to say is on mobile now. You can play
Hmm.
through original Sonic.
Yeah, you can.
So it might almost be starting to be time to consider mobile gaming to be gaming, but that might be a topic for another time.
It sounds like you're gonna have eggs thrown at you if you're gonna say that. No, I would be on board with that because any kind of gaming is gaming. Board gaming
Yeah,
is gaming. Tabletop gaming is still gaming.
I mean, it's
I
got
mean,
gaming in the name.
that's also kind of like you know your refrigerator is an Xbox kind of argument too. So like I'm seeing it from
Kind
both sides. Like you're gonna get ragged on no matter what take you have. Technically, it's a game. I mean, I can open up a game on my phone and start playing, and then I'm actually playing a game. I'm putting in the inputs. Technically, it's gaming, but is it
yeah.
real gaming? That's
Well,
going to
and
be the argument.
yeah, that is the thing. What do you consider to be real gaming or video games in general? Because, like I said too, Sonic 1 through 3 is on mobile. People consider Sonic to be a video game. More games like that get ported to mobile. Almost, might want to look at mobile gaming to be actual gaming. If more stuff like that gets ported.
I mean, a lot of people are actually looking at it already. If you look at the sales, like mobile gaming makes buku money, so
Yeah.
we know it's a profitable source. You don't have to have nearly as many technical specifications in order to get something to work.
I
Now,
mean, most of your gotcha games are on mobile. There's that too.
yeah. Now
Which those get ported to consoles.
would I want that to be my main form of gaming? Hell no.
No.
That's just something you're doing while you're sitting on the toilet. And then the last video, there's no more YouTube videos. That's basically what you're doing whenever you're gaming, or you're sitting there at the doctor's office because you sat on your ass too long and you've got like a hernia or something like that. And while you're waiting for the doctor to see you, you need something to occupy your time because obviously you don't read. So you pull out your phone, you play a game. That's the only thing that mobile gaming is for.
Yeah.
But it's still gaming.
Yeah.
It's still an industry that should be paid more attention to because there's shit tons of money in it, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Plenty of money. Plenty
But
of money.
yeah, and so that actually kind of is a worry of mine that people will pay more attention to that rather than consoles, rather than big AAA titles and everything like that. Well, not only because the AAA titles are being overrun with political agendas.
Yeah.
But also just a lot of people, especially with the expansiveness of games, which is one thing that I love because that's when I can just shut out from the world and I will play a 70, 80 hour game. But
Yeah.
that's just me and the immersion.
That's one of the things I like to spend my pastime doing is just spend as much time as I can in game, get away from Twitter, all that crap, just absorb myself within Final Fantasy Rebirth or whatever.
All right. I'm gonna have to change it for you. You're gonna bring up Final Fantasy Rebirth. Well, you're gonna have to get the Uwu. Tifa is best girl.
Can't argue. Can't argue.
Anyone who says otherwise, cut them with safety scissors. A heart and a snowflake out of paper. Well, there's one little thing that I wanted to bring up. And now this is mostly just like a topic because these kind of things have gone around for a little bit. So I haven't ever used a Steam Deck or anything like it, but apparently Valve is one of the best people at doing it. And there is rumored now this one specifically has been debunked, but it
Yeah.
is rumored that they're trying to build a Steam console that will rival the PS5 and Xbox. Now, when I first sent this to you, it did not have the update on it.
Mm.
So it's just the original port, but it has since been updated. That Pierre-Loup Griffon, or Griffey, or however you say it in fucking French, a bunch of figs, a key architect at Valve and a lead developer of SteamOS for the Steam Deck, has spoken and saying that they're not working on a Steam console. So this is just a pipe dream, but they have tried and succeeded and failed also with trying to do this before. So do you think that this is something that could happen in the future? They might still just be in development for it.
If the industry still thinks console gaming is viable, then yes, I can see Valve eventually doing that because why not? It
I think
also had more competition, so competition is normally good.
competition competition definitely drives innovation, and that's what we need in the gaming market right now because the consoles are failing. I mean, well, I think one of the big reasons why the consoles are failing is because their vision is blurred.
Yeah.
They're not tunnel visioned in on the main goal. They're going off in so many other different ways. They have lost sight of the goal. They've lost sight of the finish line, to which they should be uh, to which they should realize there shouldn't be a finish line.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. That horizon you never get to that horizon, but you're always chasing it.
But one thing is Valve does eventually do make a Steam console is how many PC games that are PC only that you can finally get on physical if they do put a disc drive in it.
Yeah, see, but because the rumor was labeled false, I didn't even go into like specs on it. I was like, well, would they have physical things that you could have there? Like, what specifically defines it as a console? Do you have a Steam Deck or know anybody who
No.
does? See, I don't know what it entails.
Norman has one.
Yeah, but he's British.
But I don't think I know anyone else who does.
Do you know how they work?
Almost like a mini computer, I think. They've got an OS and all that.
Oh, so is it kind of like you don't have to take your own computer with you? Like this is your games. It's all right here in this
Yeah.
basically laptop. And then you just go and you can plug it up to any monitor anywhere and it's like, okay, this is my gaming system
Yeah, I
with
think
all of
so.
my downloaded games. As long but I'm assuming it's gonna have to have internet access.
Maybe. I'm not too sure on that.
Because if it doesn't have to have internet access, that would be fucking cool.
That one I'm gonna have to look into. If it does, because now I'm interested if it does or not. But it's pretty much like kind of like a Switch, but Nintendo Switch before your PC games,
Mm-hmm.
or
All
like
right.
your PlayStation Vita or PSP, but for Steam.
All right, so wrapping it up, man. Final thoughts. What do you think about the console versus PC? Are consoles going to die? Final thoughts.
No, I don't think consoles are going to die. At least not anytime soon. I still see a point in consoles because one thing to also mention with PC gaming is how expensive it can be with building. Depending on what rig you're going for, like if you're wanting to go for a 4K rig, you might be looking at anywhere of $1,000 and plus for everything. I mean, look at how much new graphics cards are. Where a PlayStation 5 supposedly does 4K, $500, or at least the original. It might still be 500. Your Series X and well, your X is 500, I think. S would be like 4 or 3. So there's that aspect that keeps consoles along with the physical media to me to still be viable is the fact that they're cheaper than a PC, depending on what you're looking at or what you're wanting. Like if you really want into mod games, then go for then people will go for the PC. If you don't care about modding, then you just go with the console.
My final thoughts are basically I don't think consoles are going to go away because people want social media. Social media. Oh my gosh, physical media. You're always going to want that backup. I mean, we've seen a resurgence in retro games and everything like that because you actually have the cartridge. Not only is it bragging rights, but like it's going back to when gaming was even better than it was right now, than it is right now. But also, all you have to do is plug and play. You have the thing. All you have to do is stick it in there, fire it up, and start playing. Not any disturbance in internet and everything like that. Well, now you can't play anything on your computers anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of times even on your consoles, because a lot of consoles, I
Yeah.
mean, and computers themselves, like my laptop, it is a gaming laptop, but it doesn't even have like a disk drive in it.
Yeah.
There's nowhere I can put in a game if I had it on disk. So that's not something that I like, and maybe I'm turning into an old curmudgeon boomer. That's totally fine with me. Give me my physical media. I want to hold it in my hand. I want to take care of it. I want to be proud of it, and I want to play it whenever the fuck I want to play it, whether or not
Like
it's
this?
storming and having ice storm. Yes. Now, where's your Dragon Age trilogy?
Don't have it.
Charlatan.
I've got
You notice I said trilogy plus Awakening. Veilguard doesn't count. Fuck that game. Yeah, but basically that's my thought on all this. I don't think consoles are going away. However, I do think that Microsoft is just going to dissolve into the production. They're going to be that kind of thing. I think that's what they want to do. PlayStation will flail for as long as possible until something better probably overtakes them, especially with the cross-platforming stuff and how they have to stay viable right now. Game Pass on Steam is going to destroy Sony, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe. Because there's the thing with Game Pass that, well, I mean, you pay a subscription, you get a bunch of games, so you don't. But once that subscription is over, you can't play them. But it might not.
Well, it's a mixture of both worlds, man.
Yeah.
It's like having that. Do you remember GameFly? Are you old enough to remember GameFly?
I remember the commercials for it.
Yeah, it was basically like old school Netflix, but for video games.
Yeah.
Or like a Blockbuster where you could rent video games for 5 days and then like try it out for a very short price. And like some games you could fully fucking beat it. And if you wanted to keep replaying, you just buy the game. So it's kind of like Game Pass is kind of like a mixture of that also with just a cheaper way. And it basically I mean, except for the monthly subscription, like you could play those games for free for like the entire month or however long that it's on there. I think it's a good market. I think it's a good system.
I didn't know PlayStation tried it before with PlayStation Now, and that wasn't great.
They haven't been good at rolling out their stores, and like from everything that I've seen,
it's like you can tell they try to copy Xbox at times, and it doesn't go well.
Oh, I got so many games for free when Xbox first started doing that. Like even before Game Pass came out, it would be like games with gold, I think is what it was called. And so like every month there was 2 games that were 360 and like 2 games that were Xbox One. And now the Xbox One games were like shit. But the 360 games would be ones that like you hadn't seen in a long time, but maybe you actually like loved, but just didn't have physical copies, or like something you always wanted to try, but you didn't want to, go find a copy or something like that. So they would just give it to you for free. You download it to your I want to say CPU, but is that what they called it on a Xbox 360 or an Xbox One?
I think it was just storage.
Yeah, whatever the storage unit. You download it to that, you own the game.
Yeah.
And you got it for free just because you paid $9 a month for Xbox Gold. You get 4 free games a month. You could cancel your subscription after you download that game. You still have that game. That's what was so great about it, and that's what I think PlayStation has just faltered in every way. Like Xbox has done some stuff really good. They just haven't kept up with it.
Which part of them not keeping up with it might be just them wanting to fade into publishing only like Sega.
Yeah, well, whatever's best for the company. I mean, PC gaming is awesome as long as we can keep our controllers. If we have to go to mouse and keyboard, I'm no longer going to game ever again.
There better always be controller support.
They best be. Do you have your favorite controller? I said we were going to talk about. You have your favorite controller?
Nostalgia carries it for me, but the PlayStation 3 controller /2, because same thing but no wire attached, is always my favorite.
I know it's dirty. My Xbox One controller. 360 is great too. Dude, bro, the Xbox controller just fits so well. All the buttons work. This is dirty as crap and nothing sticks. I've had this for like 4 years. Not broken whatsoever.
I don't know. I just always liked the PS3 one more, but I only played PlayStation forever until recently.
Yeah, I've been a Nintendo to Xbox person my entire life. The times that I've been over to other people's house and tried to play their PlayStation, was like, what the fuck is this controller? This sucks. Can't stand it. Terrible.
That would be me when I go to someone's house and they have an Xbox. It'd be like, what is this? Why is one joystick higher than the other? Why is the D-pad there?
Bruh, it's so natural.
I don't know. For me,
It's
it was
always
weird.
natural to me.
Natural for me was the 3 because I played 3 since
All right,
4,
well,
5. So
riddle me this, man. Look at your PlayStation controller. Where's the directional pad? Where's the D-pad on yours?
here,
Yeah.
right across of.
Yeah. It's in a weird spot for your thumb to be whenever you're trying to just be on the controls. Well, if you have to have hit something directional, like, okay, this is both basically your moving stick, and all you have to do is that, and then you're back to the controls.
I don't know.
It makes so much sense, especially in
The
action games.
PlayStation 1 feels more natural for me. But again,
Hey,
I always
different
played on
strokes for different
PlayStation,
jokes.
so there's
That's all.
that. Born and raised on PlayStation makes it natural to me.
That's all good, man. You're still gay, but
Oh wow. Okay. You're gayer. I will call you the gayest of gays, but I already call someone else that, so
your gay has affinity +1. Basically, none of us can win this argument because
no.
different strokes for different folks. And that's what's so great about gaming and why we have this conversation here today. We just want to see what y'all had to say about it. Do you think that console gaming will end? And if it does, okay, obviously we've taken Nintendo out of this entire equation. Nintendo will go on. But do you think that the other kind of console gaming will end, or will they adapt?
If
Final
one
thoughts, Ronan.
if one were to end, it'd be Xbox because it seems Microsoft wants to go in publishing. If PlayStation ends, it's going to be somehow gets beat by PC.
Yeah, but PC gaming is not going to end. That is the future.
Oh,
But will
yeah.
console gaming like be holding on for dear life? That's literally
PlayStation
the
will.
question.
To me, PlayStation.
I agree
will.
with you. As long as physical media stays at least a part of it, it is important to a lot of gamers.
Once you get rid of the physical media, then there's no point in a console apart from price tag and being plug and play. At that point, you might as well just go to PC since everything's digital.
But other than that, man, I agree with you. It's been a great talk. I am so happy to have you out there. We will have all of your links in there, but you can shout them out verbally right now as well.
If you want to see me when I stream games, Kick, same username here, the GamingRonin 05. I'm currently going through Kingdom Hearts, and that's really the only thing that matters for shouting out all my stuff.
Sora!
Deep Freeze!
I miss those games. I haven't played them so. By the way, that's another PlayStation exclusive. Kingdom fucking Hearts.
Which I was surprised when I found that. I always thought they were on multi-platform.
No, that's why I had to go to my cousin's house to play them. But anyway, I actually love those games. But we're not going to stay around here any longer and take up more of your time. This has been a great conversation. There is more conversation to be had down in the comments section below. If you like what you have seen, please weigh in on. It's not even controversy, but weigh in on this issue and topic. This is Malty from the GCA. We've got our good friend Ronan over here. Say bye, buddy.
Bye.
Good night, Gracie. It becomes less than it seems to become. Fuck. Regardless of which direction the industry appears to be moving in, he said there is no doubt that human video games